I'm wearing Hunter merch. You know what that means. No, you don't, but I'll give you 3 guesses why I'm wearing it. Hey, what's up, you guys? So, I haven't made a video in a couple days. I don't know what I'm doing. Well, you know what? I need to make some notes for myself first. Okay, now that I've taken about half an hour to make these notes, let's get started. So originally I went to the Manchester show because my friend Kim is here, and I was like, oh, I'll just stay with her. If I have to go to any of the shows, so I'll just go to that one because I don't pay for a hotel and blah 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 blah. And then after the Cape Cod show in August, my PCD was so bad and I was like, okay, I need another show because it's never enough. So I just looked at the other shows and I decided on Dublin because I gave myself a day in between concerts, and I think that the last show of a tour is always the best one. That's just what I think. So for the Manchester show, I just had regular tickets. I didn't buy a coffee house or anything. And then about a week before, this girl Louise reached out to me on Twitter and was like, hey, I can't make coffee house. Do you want to buy my ticket? And I was like, well, yeah, I guess so. I got to the venue and her ticket wasn't there, so she was on the coffee house list so I could get into coffee house, but her ticket to the show wasn't there, and I had already told this girl Virginia that I would give her my ticket because I didn't need it. So I was like, oh god, if her ticket isn't here, then I can't go, and then she can't go because I would have to use my ticket. But the employees at the Manchester Academy 2 were working their butts off. They were working so hard, and they were like, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. And they figured it out, and they gave me a guest ticket. So actually, I didn't have to pay Louise because her ticket wasn't there, and she got a full refund. So everybody wins. There was that whole ticket fiasco, and that took 45 minutes to figure that out. So Nitro came down, and he was bringing me up to coffee house, and I was late. I got my own special entrance. And I was so busy talking to Nitro that I literally wasn't looking where I was going. All of a sudden I turned around and I was like, oh my god. And he was just literally right in front of me. And okay, where was I? Oh yeah, so I literally almost bumped into him and I was like, oh my god. He started laughing because he saw my onesie and he was like, hey, nice outfit. And I was like, thank you. And I walked in and I was like, oh my god, I literally just almost bumped into him. I didn't know anyone at this coffee house, so I literally just found the first seat and just sat down. And as I was trying to compose myself, after 30 seconds turned around and he was there again and I was like, oh my god, literally, why are you following me? So he sat down at our table right next to me, like always. I was so just flustered by the whole ticket thing and being late that I literally was so unorganized. I had a note on my iPod of what I wanted to say to him, but I literally could not form a sentence. So I managed to give him a postcard of Madrid, and I was like, you should come to Spain, blah blah blah, and by the way, this is my Twitter, follow me. And he was like, alright, alright. So I told him we were the people outside the Cape tent, Gertie. So I told him how we were the people screaming outside of the Cape Cod Melody tent, and he was like, oh, so you heard our crappy sound check? And I was like, oh yeah, that was so crappy. I was like, no, literally we were crying, happy tears. It was so good. And then I was like, yeah, we kind of, oh, mom's calling to FaceTime. Sorry, mom. We drove in when the employees were getting there, and then we parked, and we kind of waited for you outside the venue for 9 hours. He was like, I was like, yeah, we stayed in this really sketchy motel, and there was a big gap in the door and it didn't lock. But we put a chair up against it and it was fine. And he was like, did you really? Wow. And I was like, yeah, I mean, you're worth it. Hi, Mom, can you wait 20 minutes? I'm filming a video.
Well, no.
You can be on my video. Say hi. Okay, now that I literally just FaceTimed for an hour with my family, I don't even know where I was. Okay. Yeah, so then we were talking about the Melody tent because nobody knew what that was, obviously. Talking about it, he's like, oh yeah, it was really cool, stage moves and blah blah, and he was like, fit maybe how many people do you think? And I was like, and he said a number. I don't know what number. He said a number and I was like, sure, yeah. And yeah, he was just talking to me about it and I was like, I feel so cool. Blah, 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 blah. He was like, oh, can I send some stuff? And I said, yeah, you can take mine. And I gave him my journal and I was like, can you write your favorite song lyrics to one of your songs? Something inspiring or your best life advice? And he was like, wow, you just gave me literally all the hardest questions. And I was like, well, you can think about it if you want, because I'll see you in Dublin. He's like, are you sure? Like, is that really okay? And I was like, yeah, it's fine. And he's like, oh, do you have coffee house for Dublin? And I was like, yeah, I do. He was like, oh, perfect. He's like, okay, I'll really think about it. And then so he just wrote that all the love, thanks for the gifts. He did a smiley face, the exclamation marks, and then he signed it. This was the first one. So yeah, that was that. So then we went and took our picture and stuff, and I was all rushed, and then we went into the venue. Our group went into the venue first, and I was in the front. Yeah. We had like an hour to kill before the show started, so I was just like talking to all the people that were in Coffee House too, and one of the girls was like, oh, can I take a picture with you because you're in your onesie? And I was like, sure, I'm literally famous. They're all like all over it because I was American and blah blah blah. And then Kim came over and was really cool, and the girls were really nice. They were like, oh no, if she's with you, like it's fine, she can go in front of us, blah blah blah. And everyone was really nice, and so it was really awesome to get to experience that with her because I love him and I love her. And yeah, obviously the show was amazing. I definitely saw him look at me a couple times because I had my onesie on. I was literally dying. It was so hot, but I was like, it's worth it. So then the next day I flew to Dublin and I stayed in a hostel my first night, and I just was not prepared for a hostel, and I just honestly, there was nothing wrong with it. I just like freaked out. I just like panicked, and I was like, huh. So I like just booked myself a hotel for the next 2 nights, and then as I was trying to get to the hotel, I tried to use the bus because the bus is so much cheaper than using a taxi, and yeah, it was expensive because anyways. So like going to the hotel, I got off the bus and I literally had no idea where I was. I was walking around Dublin just like, okay, and it took me about an hour and a half of walking around to find my hotel, and then I found it. It was all good, and I got ready, and then I went to the show, and it was so good. Oh my god, it was so much fun. And he came in and said hi. All of a sudden I saw this guy and I was like, he looks familiar, and I was like, oh my god, it's Carl. And I was like, oh my god, like, should I go say something? And then I saw Lynette come in and I was like, oh my god, it's Lynette and Carl. And so I was like, oh my god, like what do I do? Should I go say hi? So I went up and I went and talked to them for about 5 minutes, and I was just like, thank you like for raising such an incredible son, and he is everything to me. And so Lynette was talking to me about like, oh, how did you get here? Like, why are you here? Like, thank you for your support, but like, you're obviously from America. And I told her about how I was taking my gap year and living in Spain and stuff, and she's like, oh, what are you gonna study when you get back to school? And I told her I was gonna study Spanish and education. She's like, oh, I'm a teacher too. She has been a PE teacher for 29 years and she loves it. Did you know that? Well, now you do. You're welcome. Leo didn't really talk that much. He was kind of quiet, but he was just standing there smiling. Yeah. Oh yeah, also Nitro remembered me. He was like, hey, you're back. He was like, didn't we just see you in London? I was like, Manchester, but close. And he was like, oh yeah. He was like, wow, that's crazy. He was like, well, nice to see you again. And I got my tickets, and I was walking in, and one of his other people was like, wow, you take this seriously, don't you? And because I was wearing my onesie, and I was like, if I take anything seriously, it's this. And he was like, okay, crazy lady. And I was like, yeah. And looking at me like I was crazy, and I was like, yeah, I mean, kind of. And then I got to meet Anna. I was like so nervous about going to Coffee House by myself in Dublin, and I found Anna on Twitter and we started talking. So I got to meet her, and she was really, really sweet, and I just hung out with her. Also, when I was talking to Lynette, Hunter was taking a picture with one of the other girls, and she like crouched down to be shorter than him, and Lynette just thought that was like the funniest thing. I don't know why, I just thought I would throw that in there. Yeah, so then after I took a picture with them, literally everyone else in Coffee House like followed me and like went and talked to them and stuff, and I was like, y'all don't even know, just right? Just stop. So when he came over to us, he sat right down next to me. Again, no big deal. He just loves me that much. And he says all the like intro stuff he always says, and he turned to me and he was like, sorry, I know you've heard all this stuff like 5 times by now. And I was like, no, please, like keep talking. I could listen to you talk about nothing forever. Just talk. It's fine. Yeah, basically the whole time it was everyone else just watching us talk. When he asked if he could sign stuff, he looked at me and he was like, all right, I want you to go last just because I really want to take my time with it. So he had like everyone else sign some stuff, and we were just talking, and I was like, oh, what's like one thing you want to do in Ireland? And he was like, you know, I don't really know. And I said, oh, you should go to like the Cliffs of Moher. And he was like, oh, what's that? And like I didn't even think about it. I was like, oh, it's like cliffs. You can take a boat and you can see the cliffs. He was like, oh, okay. He was like, how do you get there? And I was like, I looked down and I was like, I don't know, like I'm not from here. And he started laughing, and he was like, okay. He was like, oh, right. Like to the point where I feel like I can sass him and be okay with it. It's a good feeling. And then he was talking about Twitter. I don't really remember what he was talking about, but he was talking about Twitter and how he drafts tweets 20 times and like shows everyone before he tweets it because he wants to make sure it's cool. And then like when he was done, he like before I could even say like you need to tweet more, he looked at me, he's like, I know, I'm working on it, all right? I was like, how did you even remember that like I said that? And oh god, it was just so awesome. It was so funny. I was like, if you need me to tweet you incessantly until you remember, like I will do that. And he was like, yeah, I know you will. And then I gave him a postcard from Dublin, I think. Gave him one from Dublin, and I was like, again, here's my Twitter, like follow me, like I'm not asking anymore. And he was like, okay, I'll work on it. I knew he would forget, and he did, but you know what? I've said it enough times by now. The next time, hopefully 7th time is the charm. He's like, this is the first time here, and I was like, yeah, well, this is my 8th show of yours. And he was like, wow, 8. And he was like, Manchester, the 2 Kate Melody shows, and then like started to like blank, and then I was like, Manchester, and he was like, wait, what? I was like, USA, and he was like, I was like, with Carrie on it. He was like, oh, and I was like, yeah, that was like my first one. And yeah, he just like, oh, he's so cute. He just like started naming my shows, and yeah. And then I was like, you should do jambalaya with the accordion, like, as part of your tours from now on. And he started laughing so hard, and I was like, no, I'm like, I'm serious. Like, my life would be complete. And he was like, if I had an accordion, I would do it. I was like, think about it for the future. Like, literally, I can't even stress you on enough how much that would make my life if I got to see jambalaya on the accordion live. Like, that would just be so great. Yeah, so we just literally talked like regular friends, and it was just like the best feeling. And I know people say this all the time, that he's just a regular guy, and I used to be like, oh, what are you talking about, like it's Hunter Hayes. And yeah, he's the greatest thing that happened to my life, but he literally is just like a regular guy. And talking to him, I just felt like I was talking to a friend, and that was like just such a cool feeling. So when he got like finished signing everyone else's stuff and he got to me, I gave him mine, and I was like, oh, my name's Gertie, by the way, Gerty. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I've only said my name like once. And he's like, I don't think you've ever said your name before. And I was like, yeah, maybe I haven't, even though I did. I said it in May, but that was a while ago, and I literally just said it like that one time. I didn't say it the first time I met him, or like in Manchester, I didn't say it. And he's horrible with names. He literally took my journal and wrote in it, and he like wrote on the entire page for a solid 3 minutes. He just was quiet, like sitting there like just writing. It was so perfect. I didn't post a picture of it because I don't know, it's just like a really personal, like he took time. He was like, no, I've honestly been thinking about it since I last saw you, and I really wanted to like take my time with it. Like he wrote that whole page. I don't want to like share it just because it's really personal and special to me, and I look at it all the time. Yeah, oh, I can't even. And then I closed my journal as he was leaving and like put it on the table, and he looked at the cover and he was like, oh my god, I didn't even see that. He's like, I love that a lot. And yeah, he loves my journal and he loves me. We just like sat there staring at him for like 3 minutes, and he was like, all right, now that I'm done with my novel, and we just like talked a little bit more. Then we went to like take our picture, and I went up to Nitro and I was like, Nitro, okay, can we get like a closer up picture instead of like a full body like last time? And he was like, oh, all right, I guess so, sure. And I was like, yeah, I'm taking charge of this. So when Hunter came over, like no one wanted to go first, and I was like, guys, he doesn't bite. So like I was like, all right, whatever, I'll go first. So I went first, and I was like, okay, for this one, look at me like you have found the love of your life, and I am just like the most beautiful girl you've ever seen. He's like, all right, I can do that. So like I was just like smiling, looking at him, and then all of a sudden I see him make like a face, like the cute little face that he did, and I was like, I started laughing, and Nitro took it, and I mean, I think it's pretty cute. It's background on my laptop now. His eyes are really nice. Ugh. When I talk to him, he just like looks right at me. He literally like puts everything down and just like looks at me like this, and he just cares so much, and he's perfect. And I don't know how anyone can ever say anything bad about him, because I have never been disappointed by him, ever. Like I've never left disappointed. That's like a pretty rare thing to say about someone. I have loved him for 3 years now, 3 years in August, and I love him just as much as when I first found out about him, if not more. No, definitely more. Then after we took our picture, he like gave me this like big hug, and he was like squeezing me in. I honestly don't know what he was saying to me, but he was like saying something to me when he was hugging me, and then he like stopped talking, and I was like, I love you so much. Then he just like give me the biggest hug, and as I was leaving. He was like, thank you so much for everything, like, God bless. And I was like, thank you for everything. And then I went and sat down and stared at my journal forever. I got to and then finally I was able to eat because I wasn't so nervous anymore, and the cakes were really good. My hair is not having it. The other day when I was in Dublin, my face was not having it. Now my hair's not having it. What's happening, Gertie? Pull it together. Then yeah, we got into the venue and I was in the front again, and it was one of the best shows I've ever seen him do. And this was my 8th show of his, and it was, I kid you not, like one of the best shows I've ever seen. Like, he just was so, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was because it was his first time in Dublin, but oh my god, like, he was incredible. And I mean, he always is, but like, something about this show, it was just amazing. And he did Rainy Season. I don't know if I saw it in 2012, but if I did, that was 3 years ago, and it was so like cool to see it, and so many people knew it, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cute. And he was so happy, and then he came out and he did his encore in like a little Ireland jersey, and he looked so cute. He looked really tiny in it, but he looked so cute. Green is such a good color on him, like, Then I went back to the hotel, stared at my journal for about half an hour, and I FaceTimed with Annie until my iPod rudely died on me, and then I went to bed. He still hasn't followed me, but I know the time will come for that. So yeah, that was my experience with it in Europe. Look at my makeup though. Good job, Gertie. Killing it. Kind of, not really, I don't really know what. I should probably end this now. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and I will see you hopefully next week at some point. Okay, bye!